shell, you break your mold. We rise to the heights of exaltation.
Welcome and good day to you all. It could be good afternoon, it could be a good morning, it could be a good evening, wherever you are. This is Break Your Shell podcast, and we'd like to welcome you for joining us again today. We are very excited. Today I've got two beautiful women that I'm going to introduce. But first, I am Alice Tembe, and I'm the host of this podcast, Break Your Shell, a program that focuses on women and everything that has to do with women as mothers, professionals, career women, and all the things that they do in their lives. And we discuss and talk about issues that entail that woman. Today we're going to focus on women in leadership. If you joined us in our last podcast, we talked about issues of gender-based violence, and we are still within the days of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. But we also acknowledge that even in that turmoil that we are in, women rise in those spaces into positions of leadership and take the mantle and run with the torch ahead of others. And today I'm with two women who have been taking up that role. I am sitting here with Phiwi Mabuza. She is a mother, she's a pastor, she's a nurse by profession, and she's also working in the spiritual world, in the spiritual work as in the ministry. She is going to be also sharing from her perspective as a woman who is in leadership and the rise and steps that she went through into that process. And I'm excited today we have a guest, Dube, who is a mother who likes experimenting with cooking, and she loves singing. I'm hoping at some point I'll get a note or two out of her, but she is a woman who's a founder of an institution that works with empowerment of women who are out of full-time employment, and that is one of the things that she's going to be sharing with us throughout this session. So before I proceed any further and taking up a lot of time talking about what I like, which is what I do, I'm going to ask these ladies to share with me, where did the passion come from to go and to take up a leadership path, knowing all the hurdles and challenges that women go through? How did you get started on this path of leadership? Did it just fall on your lap? Did something inspire you? Did someone inspire you? And maybe share with us who that could be. How did you end up here? I don't know, Phiwi or Dudu, who would like to start? Phiwi, how?
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. When we speak of issues of leadership, you wouldn't think you are a leader until you are recognized. Really, sometimes when you do these things, pishanega, when they loga, at the end of the day, then they recognize something out of you. And we thank God for that. We recognize as leaders. It's sometimes by leader as a mother. Yes, the man is a leader, but konema roles lo you born la kona kufanele lapho khona uchinge and be a leader. Ndawusho ukuthi through God's grace, out of passion, some things were birthed. Out of passion, something can be birthed. But once again, out of pain or out of predicaments, something can be birthed. Best sort of I would say, I cannot sit and do nothing. Why? Because I know where I'm coming from. So whatever that I do, when women worship, it came out of passion. Now I'm one of those laba passionate with singing.
Oh.
From school, from the tender age anyway. But as I grew up, I just felt, who can I hook with so that the name of the Lord is uplifted? And then if you hear that I am leading a women empowerment, that was just God's doing. Initially, but as ngisaqhubeka with life it was as if you come at a point where you say, why not? Why not empower people? Nangabe mina khona tindwe letingishaye out of ignorance. I need to lighten up and say, kungamendekeli lo munye. Nangabe mina kungehlele. So that's what I can say. It's out of passion, but at the same time, kukhona tindo lo tibona utenda out of where you are coming from, the pain, out of the experience lengenayo ukuthi ngeke ngivumele omunye awele la ngiwele khona mina. Ngiko ngithi letinto tidalwa kanjalo. It's not just tindo longazuthi lethi awufisi kukwenda because of fear, because of utati ukuthi I'm not capable, I'm not capacitated enough. Uvela ukuthi what am I dreaming? Because I am not near there. Bese sokuvuka futhi ingane yakamoya. Yakuthi no, it's not about me. It's about God in me. Nguye lokufanele avusele tinto. Nguye futhi lotangenda ngibe capable because nguye losayiplantile lento. Otherwise, if I can tell you how I started, the fear that I had when I wanted to just convene 6 women to say, this is the project. I don't know how much time it dragged, Alice. But ngathi la ngisukuma khona I could feel lapho khona kwakungazuthi time expires. Time expires yegrace. Yak-initiator into nje. So ngasho ngithi it's great at the end of the day where ubona tindo falling into place, but it's tough to begin.
Yeah.
Tough to begin.
Yeah, I would like to pick on that and come back to you, but maybe let me give Dudu a moment to just introduce her passion and her beginning of her path to leadership. But I will come back to you, Phiwi, and pick on some of the things some of the things we already know. They've been splashed out in the public eye. So I would pick on those things and highlight it. Maybe you help us to understand those paths. But Dudu, your path, how did it begin? What inspired you, or who inspired you into a path of leadership?
Thank you for that one, Alice. Okay, with me, it was my passion for community development. I felt like there was a gap that needed to be filled, and I was just that piece in the puzzle. I felt like, you know what, there's something that needs to be done to empower that unemployed woman or that girl child, because you find that girls are vulnerable and due to their vulnerability, they find themselves in situations that can be avoided. So, like when you read, I used to read some of the articles in the newspapers, and you find that girls find themselves in prostitution, girls find themselves abused because you get this man, you don't want to be there. It's such situations. So those are the stories that actually motivated me to actually say, you know what, we can do something to actually empower that girl child, to empower that woman to stand up and do something and come out of the comfort zone and embark on that entrepreneurship initiative that you can start. You can do something. I believe that there is gold in each and every one of us. There's something that God has planted in all of us. We can stand up, we can do it, and to any culture, to any woman, it is possible. Yes, it is true that starting anything, any project, like my PSA, you know, it's not easy.
It's not.
But then, by the grace of God, it is possible, and you just have to start. So I have the passion for community development, just to empower another woman, to say that there's so much that women can do together. You know, when women unite and come together and do something, there's so much that they can achieve together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And here we're sitting women chatting about issues that affect women. Thank you so much for that. And I did say, Phiwi, I'm going to put you on the spot. And you were being very modest when you said how you started. You are a published writer. That's leadership as a woman. You have initiated and founded a group of women over a number of years now who sing and record music that has transformed people's lives. You've been part of activities that have changed individuals' lives. Annually, a Mother's Day has been convened in this country with people coming from outside the country to support and assist. These are things that sometimes when you look at, they're unrelated, but you have had a hand in all this happening. So on this path of leadership, there are challenges, I'm sure, that you met. Would you be willing to share what were some of the challenges you met in this leadership journey of these changes?
Thank you, Alice. I just want to add, Loguti, even in the community, we started as a cell group. And today I tell you there is a community project that is beginning. Guess what? It's the same leader just next to you who said, I can do something with your community. And I'm excited. Thanks again, Dudu. You are doing a great job. So, Ushokahle Alice, when you speak about me as an author, when you take that and look at the background, how was that birthed? Nobody ever thought I can ever write a book, but because of something that happened to me, it propped something within. Of course, through the support system that is around me, I ended up writing a book. But when you take that and look where it's coming from, it's from whatever experiences that we go through. Ngalama fisha ngithi ngiko ukuthi letindlo leti letendeka kithi as women, wherever a woman is, nakwendeka into, God is planting something. Kwethu nje ukuthi sibe sensitive and be determined and sibe deliberate. Why was this pain? Why did this happen to me? So that's how these things are birthed. Sekubeka nje lapho khona nasekuthiwa empowerment of women. Now it's empowerment of women is because of the experience that I had when I had the predicament. When the first book that I wrote is Mirror of Hijack. That means I'm coming from somewhere. I'm coming from hijack. Hijack is telling you are not going to be on public places because somebody is after you. It tells you hide. And that's when you start saying, how many women out there are suffering? And after suffering, you will never find the purpose of God unveiling in their lives just because of what they went through. And that's how it is, Alice. When you look at it, it's not just birth. Nobody will fall into this trap. I almost got trapped. I'm not going to allow it to happen to anybody. So ngiko ngithi ilento iqala ungadi nekuthi ema results ayo atawugcine nawe hey kani ngifunzile. There is no joy without a purpose. Once wati ukuthi there is purpose in my life, a purpose driven life, the fulfillment that is there, noma ngashayeka kwani ngibe broke nangende le purpose yaNkulunkulu ubuya ulale ngisho kuthongo. Why? Because I know I'll be rewarded. Ngingaba broke 2 weeks. Ungibone ngihamba ngemadrolo. But once you do a purpose, wherever I reach out to somebody else, you get life. You get the joy. Papa bathe bantu mosushayekile imoto uyipakile ubezohamba ngelinyawo. But I don't mind because I know I planted. I think ngiyo le joy ye leader. Ilapho nje.
the reward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phiwi. You picked on something very critical in leadership, support system.
Yeah.
And I'd like to just hang on to that word. And I, having worked with women as well, I've noted that one of the challenges women don't go ahead with initiatives they have is they feel there's no support. There is no support from with spaces where they are, and sometimes even from the other women who could be supporting them. I don't know, Dudu, in your path of leadership, have you felt that lack of support, or have you had the support? How did you keep that support going through the path of leadership?
Okay, one thing that I've noticed in my journey is that it's not easy to be a leader. Yeah. You do need the support system. You do need there's a lot of patience at the same time, and it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve, and it is true that women sometimes they don't unite yet. There's power when we come together and unite and work together as women. So it's the one thing that made me to say, let me start an organization that will bring women together. So what exactly do we do in the non-profit organization at Meritis Society Foundation? What we do is that we empower women through entrepreneurship and small business development, and we always want them to come together and be a group of at least 10 women. Basically what we're also doing, we're just breaking, that I'd call it a disorder, that we women not being united. Lokho ukuthi nje khona kuba nalo ukuthi bomaka bakhoni uhlangana asebenze kanye kanye. Kanti uma sobahlanganisile and you bring all those women together, you have a skill that I don't have. My peer has a skill that I don't have njena. Ukuthi nje kunaloku kuwe at school akukho kimi esidudu. So uma sesihlangene ukhanzela ukuthi ke lona uphuma neligolide lakhe nelidiamond lakhe nani uyahlanganisa kuphuma into lenkulu. So lokunye ngikubonile kusida ngema collaborations. There's power in collaboration. Yeah, it really does help a lot. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite interesting, and you bring up quite a very important issue of forcing women to be in the same space and having them, and it's not that they don't have, but having them realize the power in the coming together. So in this session we are calling women to come together, and we already are witnessing with the work that Dudu is doing that when women come together there is so much power and difference that we make. And today Dudu is sitting here having charted a path of leadership because of this work, and it is a testimony of the power of women when they come together. So thank you for the amazing work that you're doing, and I know you're going against the grain, so pushing that is not easy. It is not.
And the power of networking.
Yes.
Uthi na umbona lo make loya lo wenda loka hawugela than thinking of competing. Why? Mina nje nangikhuluma ngithi community yami has got something on the ground now just about to take off. Ngavele ngathi nangifika kuDudu, wherever I found her ngamiyama nokuthi nje ngathi ngiyeva ukuthi ubenda lokho ngathi awunami sisi yabo. I felt kula ngathola khona ngangaphuma nami ngihambe ngiyotifunela somewhere ngoba ngingafuni thola sito from another ungenxa ukuthi awufuni ukupromoter whatever she's doing, but ngathi nje yabo angishiye nje ngihlanyele. Then one day I got a call ukuthi hey, we are considering coming to your community. Just imagine the networking ufuna and ubafune labo make labashikitelako. Mina vele ngathi itholelana ngidudu bongosi ningayekeli kumyama, you will get more with your community. I tell you, today the community at Mfabandu Ngonini is so excited. Kuyacendwa nanyalo kuphishekiwe, but it's a project which started almost 7 years ago. But we kept hoping. Sibhala lama lista labo make sikweleke ma subscription silungise ma constitution silungisa tonke timpepha. All those 7 years we are waiting. That means some dreams don't come easily, but it's a matter of patience. That one day, and the minute Tola called, that's how the land we got. We were offered. Serious. That means it's like when you dream of something, keep trotting. Keep trotting. Trotting is doing something towards achieving that. And I tell you, I'm excited today. 2024 nje utenendo lenkulu kimi lethi yebonini nalokho sekwendekile.
1 month to go.
I'm telling you. January ngiyawubona seku-green lapha.
Okay.
I'm telling you, God has done it. God has done it. So ngiko ngidawuthi nje network. Ungasabi kuphuma network with other women. Network. Lalela. La kunemhlangano khona wena ngathi uyolalela kuyawuhlangabetana neliphupho lakho. So that's my submission. You know?
But as you're speaking, I'm noting, Phiwi, that the women in your community, if they didn't have someone, a woman who decided to lead this vision, it would not have happened. So someone needed to carry the torch and keep going despite the circumstances. And
giving them hope.
yes, and when the women saw the torch keeps on shining, they kept on following. But so as a woman leader, that's one of the lessons we're picking, that if you are on that path, you just keep holding the torch up. They will follow. Some of the women are just waiting to find who can hold the torch up, and they can follow. So and from Dudu's work, it's showing when they are brought together, someone holds up the torch, they do succeed. So this is quite an exciting conversation we're having. It's telling me things are possible, things that sometimes we may think are not possible. Now I'm getting excited. It's interesting. I would like to probably take it a little bit further and ask you from a personal level. You're a nurse too. I'm sure you have other things that you do. She likes cooking that you do outside your leadership role. How do you link these lives, your personal life and your journey of leadership in the different projects that you work in? So there's a balance that needs to happen, I'm sure, because there's demands on both sides of this. How do you find the balance, being a mother, being a leader, being someone who likes singing and experimenting with cooking? Yes.
Okay, with me, I said my mom, and my dad, and my son. And then I'm a single woman. And then, yes, I love singing, and I love cooking and experimenting with different dishes with my mom. Oh. Yes. So yes, one thing that I've noticed is that it's very important to strike the balance between work. Take some time out and focus on with me. Focus on my mom. Focus on my loved ones, family. Yes, I'm very family oriented. Yeah, thanks to my mom and dad. There's one thing that they taught us is that my dad didn't want us to. You can't eat alone. He would insist to this day that we eat together as a family. So I value and I treasure that time spent with family. Like, I'm so excited today. I have to go home. I know that they're cooking something nice. I'm not there. You know, that time, it gives you time to chat and just have that family time. Talk about your stresses, talk about other things. And I'm so close to my dad. So that is always all the time.
That's interesting.
So we do need time out, just to spend with loved ones, family.
Wow, interesting. Should I throw the ball across the table for you? Yeah?
With that one, I can say it was tough. at first to strike the balance. I can't lie. Ngesikhathi sowubona nje ukuthi I'm bringing tension in the house now because lento yami futhi ngathi ngihambisa until late. Ngibuye late.
Yes.
And uqala faultalishe lapha nalapha vele. I'm a career woman, I'm a mother, and all that. The next thing when I saw a patient, it's very tough. We are vele one. Cripplishe kona lapha until ukhone lokubona ukuthi hayibo. Asengibalansise kahle kancane ngenyanga. So ngalama fisher na both a family iqale nje imangale usikhoshwa kwendekeni ngana umuntu nango, but with time then now so ubona ukuthi I have to adjust time, I have to adjust like this and like that, bese ba uyabona le support seyayibona seyiyasonzela kancane but vele uqala uthi bude kusikhoshwa nangabe bengendalo because they vele you have taken their time. And how all of a sudden when nasikhathi sekuthiwa isapha time awukho outside there going for meetings, it's another thing for a woman, but it takes for you to always kuthiwa yinto kusipesa uhlala phasi ubuyisa lengqondo uthi okay this day akahambi kahle kusasa how best can I do it? Khona nganoba tension in the house. I keep learning from there. That's why when God adds something in your life, be careful not to lose what you had. So with me, I might lose something. I'm pushing passion. Angti revisit and review. How best can I do it so that I don't lose not even one of them. Then it needs God. It needs wisdom. Because I cannot pull from this side. And again, I cannot lose them. So with me, with time, kwasekuhamba smoothly. Ngabona bonke basukuma at family level ukuthi nyaloke i-backup sengiyayiyo. Kanti at first I tell you kuba iba khona lokuthi nawe wende into ngendlela lekabi. So I think it takes one day at a time.
Yeah.
Until you reach la uthi khona bonke basukumile kenyana. And we thank God for that. We learn by making mistakes, but nje at the end bese uyajabula. Otherwise isikhathi regret siba khona uthi what can I do now? But I cannot pull. I cannot pull from here. So we thank God for all these experiences. But it's possible.
Picking very critical and important lessons in women leadership, and I would like us to take a short break and we'll come back, but I'd like to acknowledge the key things that I think I'm learning from these two amazing women in leadership. And one of them is, if you have a passion, keep moving, don't wait, don't stop, keep moving, don't give up. The second one is, you will make mistakes, acknowledge, and you learn from them. And the third one was, you have started, you're changing lives, and you're going against the grain. It's not easy, but network and work with others to keep yourself supported. And the last one is self-care. Don't forget yourself in the process. Find the balance to also take care of yourself. So we're going to go on a short break, and we'll be back just briefly. Thank you very much for listening.
Stop! There's no justification to violence or abuse, either at work or at home.
Not under my name, not under my watch.
Violence is learned, and it can be unlearned.
If human beings do not put an end to gender-based violence will put an end to humankind.
break the chain of silence.
Asukumeni silwe nakuhlukumezana. Stop the violence.
Stop the violence.
Stop the violence. Let's stop the violence now.
GBV ends now.
Welcome back. If you were with us in the beginning of the first half of our session, it has been quite exciting, interesting, quite important lessons came out about women in leadership. And like I said earlier on, I'm sitting with two women who have been on a path of leadership, have went through the challenges, dealt with the challenges, fought with bridges that were not there and built some, and have established success in their path of leadership. And I will acknowledge again, these women are not just women in leadership. They're still mothers. They still love singing. They still love cooking. They still do other things. And they are also career women. So this leadership path they are on is not just in one space. But today, as we're talking to them, we have established key things. One, if you have a dream, keep at it. Keep trotting, she said. Don't stop. Just keep trotting. It will come up. It will be, you let it find you moving. The second one is what Phiwi said. When you have that passion and you're moving with it, you have to have a support system, because you can't do it on your own. So network and work with other women, learn from other people who are in leadership doing the same thing. Number 3, don't give up. And the last one, take care of yourself. Self-care. Don't stop taking care of yourself, finding the balance that in your path of passion and leadership, as well as yourself, to keep going. You need to take care of yourself. I'd like to just pose an important question as we're talking about keeping on going and not giving up. You have met challenges, Phiwi, in your path of leadership. You've met challenges, Dudu, in your work. What challenges have you met and how did you overcome? Yeah, Dudu.
Starting with me. Good.
No, I'm asking Dudu this time to start. We're coming from break. She had time to breathe, and she still has not sung a song for us yet.
Oh my God. Okay. Where do I start? In any position that you're in, there will always be challenges. Okay. Especially when you are leading a non-profit making organization, one of the challenges that you face, that you have to deal with, is that you rely on sponsors, for operations and administration. So it is a challenge because, but thank God, we thank God for partners. That's why I say that there's power in collaboration. So we thank God for partners. We thank God for those companies or organizations that come through to say that we would like to partner with you in achieving this goal. And we are so grateful as an organization for that. We have partners, people that have supported us, and it always makes it possible for us to reach our target group, the beneficiaries. So there are challenges, because at the end of the day, you must fulfill the mandate. So as a leader too, you need to make sure that you fulfill the mandate, and in the midst of everything, maybe limited resources, you still need to go an extra mile. And I would say that it also comes with a lot of sacrifice personally, as a founder of an organization, an NPO, you also have to be the founder of that organization. You also need to sacrificially fund the operations. In as much as we appreciate all those who are assisting through grants, through partnerships and all, but when there's a gap, you also have to come through, because there are tri-seasons. Okay, there are tri-seasons, okay. Sometimes you'll sleep very late because you're busy with proposals and meetings. There's a lot, some people say that, when you you're probably running your own initiative. You can just it's not an 8 to 5 job. No, it is actually beyond 8 to 5 because sometimes when people are actually relaxing at home in the evening, you are actually working until late, 12 midnight, 1 p.m. You have to work, you know, so you always have to go an extra mile. But we also thank God for the for volunteers, for the you know, teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, so I really appreciate the admin team, volunteers that we're working with. I appreciate the partners, the sponsors, and the IGC, the board members that work with. We're just working as a team, so it really helps, you know, because they are there to assist and ensure that we fulfill the mandate, our vision as an organization of reaching out and empowering women entrepreneurs, the girl child, as well as equally mentoring the boy child, because it's very important that we do not leave out the boy child. They mentor too. It's very important. We are actually there's a period of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, and we are saying that let's come together and let's also go back to the root, to the boys as well, as young as they are. As an organization, on an annual level, we usually have a boot camp and an annual gala just to fundraise, and so that we're able to reach out more communities. And we do that. We cannot do that unless we also, as an organization, go an extra mile and also do those fundraising and raise funds for those programs. So we really appreciate everyone that is assisting us as an organization. And we are beta kakhulu. But uNkulunkulu ukhona and uNkulunkulu simbonile. It is by His grace. And siyambonga kakhulu ngoba ngaphandle kwakhe vele we wouldn't be standing here. Iyabeketela le ndlela ikanjena njena ithi vuke uthi yabeketelwa kakhulu. But nje, you just don't give up, you keep pressing on and tell yourself that, you know what, kuyekela ke no, we are moving. You cannot stop. Challenges may be there, but still, you know, it's just a learning curve for us, and we continue to go to fulfill the mandate lesiniketwe yona. So ngiyambonga uNkulunkulu lo wayiplant the vision way back in 2004. It's very young age. Yes, and I thank God ukuthi ngemusa wakhe ngetindlela takhe phakeme kwase siyakhona ukuthi singayiregister and iqhubeke. Siyafisa kakhulu bomake Nkosi yami, it is by the grace of God ukuthi nathi siphume sincongcothe sikhona ukuthi uthole leyo grant ubuye sithe bomake ukuthi okay abaqhubeke sithi nje make akathuthuke umfana ntombatana akathuthuke. At the same time, in as much as we're empowering the women and the girls, we must not forget the boy child. They matter too, just like men. They matter too. Ukuthi let's all come together holistically and sikhona ukuthi wonke umuntu athwele isitho. But nje kakhulu kakhulu we thank God ngoba without him ngeke sesize sikhona.
True. So that's very encouraging. Yes, this path comes with challenges, but we don't stop because there's a challenge. Even though the sun sets, we know that in the morning we'll rise again. We just keep going. Thank you so much for this. And acknowledging the involvement of the boy child and men in the work that you do. This is quite critical. I don't know, Phiwi, would you like to chip in at this point? Challenges you have met and how you managed to overcome.
Yes. with me, ngasho ukuthi akahlala ngabi khona ama challenges. The fact that we are moving some things, there is always a challenge on that one. And in Velenginotisile, I'm not going to be different from what Dudu has just said. Lokuthi nje, you need to come all out to make it happen. Vele, you should be sacrificial. I challenge leyo because isuke ingekho leyo mali budget a family. And there you are. You need to put something ngoba ubona ukuthi kuyafaka inyanga. So ngiyo le challenge leyo ngoba ngile such things lapho khona la ufika khona ekuthenini ngenda njani ngano temperature ipeace yelikhaya lami and you can't avoid that. There is always the strife now. Let's see le mali seyishonele you will go to debt ngenxa ye passion ngenxa ye purpose. But ke ngiko ngithi those are such challenges lebe ngoma face mina ubone lokuthi iyaphuma imali manje seyiya kulenye indzawo but once nayiphuma but kufuneka ube lo prayerful. The prayerfulness it's Nkosi, you know my heart and you see me and uyabona nami ukuthi isikebe sesinjani umthu ke vele asho up come through how ibuyapi lapho soyakhona kubuyisela labo but ku risky. And the other challenge lebe ngi notice ngilokuthi now is the woman that's leading this. What about like leader go nangaba kase le pathway yakhe akasa sayihambe and le pathway yakhe inekuba kuthi imende abe spearheader lokuthi uya spearheader ushayise now uva ukuthi imali iphumile kuyenteka iphuma imali you spend money on something uthi uyachecka later on if it was a man it was going to be reasonable. Whatever that you have spent there is because your mind yakho had not grasped ukuthi letindo tibo malini phela kube mane bekumane kulidwa male gender maybe ngabe aka spend kangaka ubona kulokunye lokuthi I'm being manipulated now
because I'm a female.
I'm being manipulated but uyobona muva bese sengikhani ke wena so strategize ukuthi next time but so feel the first few years it has not been easy lapho na ubona lokuthi lokho Nkosi yami kube ngiyakhona kubasuwisha bengabasuwisha naba labangenda nje there is no way you can sue but what I had noticed it needs consistency lento yakho loyicalile and the consistency is challenged. Every year it always gives you the reason to give up. And kwako it's the inner man that has to drive you. Say money or no money, next year we are doing something greater than the previous years. So it needs ingani yakamoya because now ingani yakamoya ngila uthi khona unemandla baba nginawo really lendro lena ngabe ayisiko la kuba sikake sahamba singathi nekuse siyawufike sibhadale ngani. That's how we have achieved and kuba a challenge ke lokho ngalokuthi lempilo yakho ihlalise uncertainty but I want it to work but you have to when there is nothing on the ground and the problem of kuthi uqale into bese sokuphinze kuthi nya people don't trust you phela konke but wena into lokufanele uyende ukuthi if this year's achieve kangaka the following year push it further then people will get used and get the hold on your vision and then move with you and logo stress ngekwazi lokuthi how best can we reach how best can we move so that I can move with the people the audience that I'm impacting on. So ngithi uhlala umantontolwane kuyenteka ukuthi banibalele awukalali just because I'm thinking how best can it be. So ngithi kukwasa a challenge but the results when they come overwhelming bese kuthiwa the glory is not compared to where you're coming from. So bese uba fulfilled ekugcineni sekwenda uNkulunkulu mathanza ke lapho. So ngithi it's risky kubanga tension but kune happiness le lengamataniseke ekugcineni. So that's why we call it challenge but the challenge it drives you to push.
Wow, and I hear Dudu is in agreement with you that yes, it's a challenge, but does not necessarily mean it stops you. I also understood an agreement of sleepless nights, sometimes staying up while everyone is sleeping. So that's the personal sacrifice that any person, male or female, in leadership has to make. If you choose to hold the flame and lead others, sometimes you have to do things that others are not willing to do, because there are things that you get that others will never get. So you have to be willing to do those things that others are not willing to do to get what others are not getting. And so I'm celebrating you today as well, as I celebrate other women out there on their path of leadership. It could be leadership in your career, in your home, your family. It could be leadership in your church. It could be within your siblings. Sometimes you find you rise as a leader, even if your parents are still around. You rise into positions of leadership in different spaces. And I today would like to celebrate all of you, because it means you have been willing to do things that many people are not willing to do. And you will get what many people are not getting. So my next question to add to that is, your work has been acknowledged in some spaces. It has been celebrated in some spaces. How has that made you feel, Dudu?
It's humbling, very humbling when you are recognized and honored with an award for the work that you're doing. Because it's never about us. It's never about us, but it is always about the people. When God planted the visions in our spirit, it was never about us. It's always about the women. It's always about the beneficiaries, those that are going to benefit, that livelihoods that need to be impacted through whatever that that initiative that God has planted in your heart. So it's always humbling, to receive maybe an award or an international award. Well, by the grace of God, I've been so humbled by the awards I've received because of the work that I'm doing. So it is by the grace of God, and I remain humble, and it is motivating me to continue to do the work. Yes, and the glory belongs to God. Yes.
Thank you so much, Phiwi. How has that made you feel that people have acknowledged and seen what you do, and some recognition has started to come in some of the spaces that you have influenced? How has that helped you, or how has that made you feel?
Hey, Nankumbula, Alice, the first award from that book, Mirror of Hijack. That's about it's the best informative book. It was really humbling, especially because the book was published year 2012. But after so many years, it's as if it's not forgotten. Your works to impact love is not forgotten. It follows you. Somebody may call it late. It's never late. Because it really, as Dudu is saying, it motivates. Oh my God. That means I've delayed to write another book. You see, you feel like, no, if somebody was assisted fully on what you produced, really, you get so excited, but it's really humbling. And to me, the recognition on its own, the latest recognition on leadership, it's like, Lord, I've not done much to deserve this, but I'm just excited on the recognition, whether I win or not. To me, it's the world. I have a saying that I got from the unknown author. That life does not ask us to be the biggest. It doesn't. It doesn't ask us to be the best of the bestest. But it's only the little things that we are going to be doing, making a difference in people's lives, that makes it all. So recognition is perfect, but it tells us, don't stop what we are doing. It look little, but there's something that is is of effect somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
So it makes you, if you've heard that we don't sleep sometimes, we sleep and overdose.
When the recognition comes. Wow. That's interesting. You just reminded me of this famous quote that in life, either do something that's worth writing about or write something that's worth reading.
Okay.
Two things. Either your life is worth writing about, or you write something that's worth reading. That's leaving a legacy. And you women sitting here, you ladies sitting with me here today, are building an amazing, huge legacy that you're leaving behind. Stories that will be told over generations to come. And yes, the book might have been published in 2012, but that's what is important about a book. Someone sees it on the shelf today for the first time. For them, it's published in 2023. And the story is happening now in that space. It doesn't expire. The inspiration comes right now. The work that you're doing, the inspiration in those generations that are changing cycles of poverty, it's right there in the moment. So it's not going to be forgotten. Oh, she started this back then. No. The life of the grandchild of the woman we're helping today will know that things changed because it began. Some woman began in a community development somewhere. So someone is going to write a book, I hope, about your life. So living a life worth writing something about, or you write something worth reading. And those are the two key lessons I'm picking from your lives today, and imparting to anyone who's listening today that your life is value. So either you write it and we read about it, or you leave it and someone is going to write something about it. And so thank you so much for sharing from your personal perspective. As we conclude this session, ladies and gentlemen listening to this session all over the world, wherever you are, I would like to just ask these two wonderful ladies to give one or two parting words that they would like to share on leadership, particularly in women. What is the important message you would like to share today, Dudu, to any woman or who's listening, any young girl who's thinking about leadership and looking at the world and seeing that it's not quite balanced in terms of my space as a woman to lead? What message of encouragement would you like to impart to them?
Okay, mine would be don't fear going an extra mile. Just the challenges may be there, but like Marie Pure said, we learn from them. I'd say the same thing. We are learning every day. We are learning something new. So, as a woman, do not fear getting into that leadership position. Tell yourself that I'm going to get into this leadership position. I'm going to learn, and it is possible. It is possible.
Thank you so much. Powerful. It is possible. It's not impossible. So as a young girl, young woman, older woman, there's no limit in terms of age. Whatever space you're in, if you're thinking about it, it's possible. Phiwi, what message would you like to give for encouragement for anyone listening out there?
My word will be, if you have a dream, don't delay embarking on it. I just believe there is a timeline for God, that gracious moment for you to take off. There's a certain amount of grace afforded for you to take off, but if you delay, you will find that there's already some constraints that comes on a later stage. I felt that when I began, because I felt I am late. So many oppositions at play now, yet if I had started the time, I had time to start. But because of fear, I won't lie, fear come to play. Why? Because of the surrounding again. There are people whom you will share that vision mistakenly, yet they're not in support of the vision and the you, then it doesn't tally. Usually the dream will not match up with whom you are most of the time. I will not lie. Once it match up with who you are, it's not the dream. The dream has to be bigger. It has to shake you. Then you will know that that's it. And you need to stand up timely. That's why we always pray and say, God, give me the wisdom. Give me the wisdom, because right now I need to stand, but I know there's nothing to stand on. But I need to stand on God only for me to achieve. So be timely, stand up for it, against all odds, against all opposition. And be careful, you yourself can stop you from embarking on your dream. Yourself. So work on yourself and work on with the surroundings. Push until you come out of that fear.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are out there, this has been an amazing conversation I've had with Phiwi Mabuza and Dudu Dube. And if anything I'd like to impart to you is the lessons that we have picked from these conversations. If you are thinking about a dream, I would add, it could be a nightmare. Write it down. It must scare you enough. It must, for it to be a good one, it has to really scare and shake you. Don't give up on it. Keep running. Take care of yourself and find a balance between that passion that you want to achieve, as well as taking care of yourself and your loved ones around you. And don't stop. Just keep moving. Things will happen as you move. Most importantly, find the right people to connect and network with, collaborate, so that the weight of the dream is not sitting on you alone. And also you can learn from people who have already walked the path that can help you to grow your dream, or to make it, to make that nightmare go away. So like Phiwi said, these things can be born from an amazing dream. It can also be born from a nightmare. So you could be running towards a dream, or you're running away from a nightmare. Both are great stories or passions you can follow to make something great. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Every first Friday of the month, Break Your Show will be taking out its episode on a pertinent topic that affects women. So don't miss it. Every first Friday of every month, you will find a link that you will listen to women that we sit to, and we sit with. All these women are not prominent women. They are ordinary women, full circle women, mothers, single mothers, married mothers, pastors, career women, the ones we call stay-at-home moms. All those women, young and old, mature maybe, let me not say old, sitting in this platform will share from their backgrounds and experiences on topics that affect us as women and can help us to develop and grow ourselves the next step. As we look towards 2024, I'm excited to say this is not going away. We will keep connecting with you, and we hope that you keep connecting with us. Stay on. Thank you very much.
Break my shirt.